Unit 5, Lesson 3 for Algebra 1. So from the Desmos activity, we start with a few warm-up slides. So we're just going to go to slide 4 in terms of talking about for the new content for Lesson 3. Okay, so first off, we need to recognize some other vocabulary. So input. So what is the input? Input are the x values, okay, and then the output are the y values, okay? So we really want three terms for the input. So input, x value, and domain. And those are three vocabulary words that you want to just be able to use kind of interchangeably. And then for the output, you want to say output, y value, or range. Okay, so what does the output mean? So it's the value of y, basically, from an equation or an expression. So from an expression as a result of an input. Okay, so we put an x value in, we get a y value out. Okay, so for instance, right here it says, what is y when x is 2? Okay, so when x is 2, what's y, right? So we go to where x is 2, what's y? Well, there it is. You know, I'd say y is about 2.2, somewhere in that range, right? Obviously, you can have 2.1 or something a little different, but that would be about what it would be, right? Here it also says, what's y when x is 0? When x is 0, y is, oh, well, there it is. It's 3, right? So then y would be 3. So this is an example where the input is 2, the output is 2.2. The input is 0, and the output is 3. Now, is this graph a function? No, it is not. Why is it not a function? If I draw a vertical line, it would cross the graph more than once. So it would fail the vertical line test. Okay? All right. Number 6. What is y when x is 2? So when x is 2, 1, 2, you'll notice there is no value. Notice how here, when x is 2, there is not a single value there. So you would say y does not exist. These are kind of the tricky ones. You know, if there's not a line here, you can't just draw a line through it, okay? So if you don't see a certain value of x, it's because that y value, it's not going to exist, right? There was no value of x at 2, so you can't say what y would be. Now, is this graph a function? Yes, it's a function because the x values at these 4 red dots do not repeat, right? So the x values do not repeat. You could also say the input doesn't repeat. You could say the domain doesn't repeat. All right, so now let's start solving something. So when y, what is y when x is 2? Okay, so equation. Y is 3x plus 2. So what are we going to do here? Well, we're going to do 3. We're going to substitute the 2 where the x is. Okay, so there you go. Plus 2. So it's going to look like that, right? So now it's y equals, well, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2. Well, 6 plus 2 is 8. So there we go. Okay. All right. Number 8. So, or sorry, screen 8. So now let's get into the idea of what is f of x. So f of x is the same as y. It has the same meaning. It's the same way that we said input and domain were the same. F of x and y are the same. Okay. So what that is said as is f of x. We plug x into the function of f. So for example, f of x equals 3x minus 1. What is f of x when x equals 2? Replace each x with 2. So here I see the x, I'm going to put f of 2, which means we're going to put a 2 in wherever we see it in the equation or expression. In this case here is the x right here, so it's going to be 3 times 2 minus 1. 3 times 2, 6, 6 minus 1, 5. So the way we would write the answer is f of 2 is 5, which means when the input was 2, the output was 5. Okay? So then we showed one set here for an example. So for here it says f of 8. Well, 8 is going to go in for my x value right here. So now I'm going to do 4 times 8. Well, 4 times 8 is 32. So we'd say f of 8 equals 32. Okay, here we have g of 4. So I'm going to put the 4 in here. So we're going to say, well, 1/2 times 4 minus 8. Okay, well, half of 4 is 2, so it's 2 minus 8. Well, 2 minus 8 is negative 6. So you'd say g of negative 4 equals negative 6. And then lastly, we'd see h of negative 2. Remember, anytime, notice how I use parentheses here. I'm still going to use parentheses here. So we go open parenthesis, negative 2, close parenthesis, okay, squared minus 5. Well, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 minus 5 equals negative 1. So those would be our answers here. So this is how we go ahead and do an f of x problem, and both what we're talking about in terms of input and output. Hope this helps.